Julie Verville, welcome.
Thank you.
Actually, I should say thank you for letting me be here in your space,
Yep.
because here we are in the Ardest Gallery in the Woodlands, Texas. Definitely should come and check this place out. It's an artist's dream and an art lover's dream, I would say. So Julie, I want to begin this talk by telling people how this project came about.
Sure.
So it was June of 2025, last year, and you had your second anniversary party or celebration here in this space, in the new space here in the Woodlands. And that night was probably the highlight of my entire year. Because not only was it just a fun time, there was a lot of a vibe of celebration here, but I looked around the room at the end of the night and I realized that I know everybody. Not only do I know everybody, but they're all my friends.
Yep.
And then throughout the night, I had one conversation after another with artists talking about their art. And that was when it dawned on me, like, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to talk to artists.
Sure.
I want to talk to them about their work and just dig into their heads. So I wanted to start this by saying thank you for creating this community and for having a space where this sort of thing could happen.
It's been fun.
It has been fun.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that this is what it was going to become?
No, this was not. This was not my intended path. Was not part of my plan to be in the space at all. So it's been fun to watch every page unfold and grow and evolve and change, and here we are.
Well, so tell us, how did the Ardest Gallery become the Ardest Gallery?
That's a great question, and you know this story, but for everyone else that doesn't, my daughter, Nora, during COVID, which was a very strange time, it was during 2020, 2021, where we were still in this odd limbo, masks, kids were home from school. I have 4 kids, they were all home from school, and my mom, who is a retired teacher, was teaching homeschool art lessons with my kids, and she would come to the house and she would wear a little name tag, Mrs. Welch, just to make it funny, and she would bring materials and she would do a little art history lesson, and then the kids would do whatever the topic was. After a few months, Nora produced a watercolor that I honestly didn't imagine that she was going to be able to make, and she was 9 at the time, and it was really good, and I've been collecting art for 20 years, and I thought it was good. So I asked my mom, did she really make that? Not, and I felt bad after questioning it, but she did. And so then I thought, I will take this opportunity to help her build her self-esteem. So I took some of her pieces and enrolled them in an art show in Houston near the Galleria, and it was an adult show, but her work, 3 of them sold that night. And it was really fun to see both my little girls were with me at the time, her expression. And then I realized that I'm helping her feel better about herself and validating her artistic journey. Flash forward 6 months, I got an opportunity for her to have a little working artist studio. I traded my marketing experience for her to have a little space. That was great. That evolved into suggesting that there's be an anchor. So we turned this little building, it was probably 700 or 800 square feet, maybe max, into a little gallery. It filled up immediately with art. And then I realized there are so many artists, talented artists, that don't have a place to show their work. So after 6 months of being in that space, I expanded here.
Okay.
So it was really quick. It was one after another, and now we have almost 2,000 square feet, and we represent 60 plus artists, plus the market. If you add that in, I'm at least 100 artists on any given month I'm communicating with.
Right.
So it's a lot.
Yeah, so the Ardest Gallery is not just an art gallery. I would call it a hub for education, for shows, obviously, workshops. Expound on that a little bit.
I started doing some open calls in the original space just to see how it went. I wanted to see, how does this process work? And I don't come from an art gallery background, so which is probably helpful, because every time I do something, it's for the first time. And it's without connections and being able to ask other art gallery owners, how does this work? I just know from talking to artists how it works. So I set up an open call just to see. And then I found new artists, new talent. I also, after talking to artists, realized there aren't very many galleries in the state that regularly offer these opportunities, open calls. So when we moved here, I made it a point to host them and to seek out qualified jurors in that specific category that can help draw in the talent, because it matters who's during the show. And so we do at least 8 now a year of open calls. We bring in another 20 to 32, depending on the size of the works, art and artists every single month.
Yeah.
And that's a way for me to find new talent too. I will at least every show find 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 people that I put on my list that I want to bring back to show the community, because they're that good. And I would have never found them if I hadn't had that call.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of serendipity. You know, one thing kind of leads into another. The open calls are definitely a time where I get to meet new artists. They're often very fun, clever ideas on the open calls. Where do you come up with those ideas? Do you?
Internet searches, popular art things. I also try to rotate the theme so I can hit different mediums, because they're photographers, for example, need to have their own show sometimes. Right. Although they might be in an abstract show, they might not feel like they get seen. So we have got one in April called Through the Lens. So it's just broad photography. Right. We do landscape just to bring in some possible realism, because I don't have a lot of that work represented here. So I try to rotate the themes. We do abstraction every year because it's such a huge category. But beyond that, we rotate the themes every year. Plus, it keeps it fun.
Yeah, I agree.
If it was the same theme all the time, people would get bored.
Yeah, but I think artists now too in the area are very keen on that. They're kind of waiting for what's the next call, and does my stuff fit?
Yeah.
Could I do that? And yeah, many times I've cracked a smile.
And some artists think it's a challenge. They take it up. Can I make something to fit that?
Yeah.
And what's the response?
I'm guilty of that. I've done that, and I got in one time doing that. So.
But it really, there's one more comment. I used to be a party stylist and party planner, so I like good themes. So that's also probably why I gravitate towards fun themes or different themes. When I did that for children's parties, we never repeated the same theme more than one time, and they were always original. We tried to bring in something unique or fun or different, because that's what keeps things going. Yeah,
yeah. Going back to the beginning stages of the gallery, when you said you opened it up as a studio in the beginning, right? And did you? I know Nora. I know I've got to see her grow up.
Yeah.
And she's a great artist too. Did you foresee it becoming something like it is now, or
No.
it just kind of evolved?
It's evolved. I have a business background, and so when I realized that there was a gap in the marketplace, and when I started to see other galleries around not making it, it became really a mission of mine to figure out why are they not making it, and how can I make something that is sustainable?
Right.
How can I open doors and stay open, not only for the artists, but for the community? I think we need art. Yeah,
I agree. And like I said, the reason, well, the way this whole thing started for me, in fact, in regards to sitting down and having conversations with artists, is because of the friendships that I've created through the community that you've created. So, again, there's the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
So you did one little thing 4 or 5 years ago. It's kind of...
It's just, and the way you describe with the artists is the same way that I feel about our clients. I'd like to say we're the cheers of art. You know, we know their name. They come back because they feel like, oh, she remembers me. And everybody wants to be seen, especially nowadays. And when they come back through the gallery doors, and we know who they are, and what they've purchased and why, and can remember things about them, then they keep wanting to come back.
Right. Yeah.
So it's fun.
Right on. Has there been a moment where you've kind of sat back and just taken it all in, where you've allowed yourself to breathe a little bit? And I know you're a very humble person, so you're not going to like pat yourself on the back.
No.
But you should, I think you can look at it and say, oh man, look at what we did. Look at what we did here.
I mean, I feel like I'm still in the very beginning. Even though we're a couple years in, I'm very hard on myself. I'm an A-type personality. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, ever. So for me, a new year is what went well, what can I do differently to get more results this year? How can I support more artists? How can we keep these, how can we make it a full-time job for more than just a few artists? I feel responsible.
Yeah.
If I bring an artist into the gallery, I feel responsible for making sure that they're successful.
Yeah, I can attest to that too. I would say that one of the good things about having a local gallery here like this that caters to emerging artists, I would say, is that there's a learning curve, and you are whether you know it or not, you're also an educator. Like you've educated a lot of artists as we go along, like how to better market yourself, or what ways to go with your artwork, what challenges should you throw at yourself, challenging people with workshops. Because artists, people don't realize, but if you're trying to be an artist full time, for most people, it's not just sitting at home painting by yourself.
Right.
There's other things you're doing. You're teaching, you're doing workshops, you're doing demos, you're doing all kinds of things.
And that's the thing, I try to educate artists on, there are so many ways that you can make revenue, and at the end of the day, artists often don't think like business owners, but you need to, because you need to pay your bills, and you need to be successful in your own way, whether it's part-time or full-time. And so I try to be creative and think of, like for example, some of the workshops you've done is how can I take your skill set and how can we bring other people into, how can you share that with people? And it helps the clients, but it also helps you.
Right.
Helps the gallery, brings people in. So it's a collaborative, I think it's more collaborative instead of just expecting an artist to figure it out themselves. And so, I'm always trying to push and be creative and come up with a different way to do the same thing.
And all those things also fold into the community building. I think that's a real big part of it, because I've met people in workshops who've become clients later on, or who've commissioned paintings.
Right.
I often kid people that I'm kind of like the dog guy, the dog portrait guy, but part of that was because I got to meet some people who are pretty high up in the dog rescue world, and that has been a great boon to my business.
Right.
So,
you never know,
You never know.
and they don't always work, and so I'm not scared to try. I think a lot of people are scared to try something new. I'm not. They don't always work, and if an idea doesn't work, I just try to find a new one.
Right.
I get mad at myself, and then I try to find a new one. But it's keep trying.
Yeah, I would say you also have pretty thick skin too.
I do.
Where, hey, it doesn't work, just move on, go to the next thing.
Yeah, it stings a little bit, but you can't have thin skin and be in this business. It's a retail. My business is retail consumer. I have to worry, and I have artists as clients too. So I've got my artist clients. If they're not happy, my gallery wouldn't exist because I wouldn't have any artists.
Right.
And then I've got my clients, and then I have my corporate clients who are my designers and people that are bringing. It's a lot of people. It's really a sale. It's really a sales job.
Right.
It's a people job.
For sure. And with the people relationships, that's where the sales come from.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a sale because it's art. It's really about finding the right solution for people. And I come from a sales background. It's not selling. I think if you're trying to sell something, it's not the right way.
Correct. You're trying to solve problems.
Yes. I'm trying to match the right things up for solutions. But
And I think in this business too, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's also an extra challenge because there are problems in art and design, but not really. It's like no one needs to have the artwork.
Right.
It's not like a staple.
Right.
So you have to have, that's where I think the storytelling comes in, right?
Yes. And it's a fight. I was just asked by an artist earlier about the gallery and sales. And there is the decorative world of art, and then there's the collectible world of art. And they're not always the same. Right. And so I try to teeter between having both. I need to have art solutions for the person looking for their mantle or their sofa area or their entry. May or may not be uber unique. It just needs to be the right colors, texture, size. And if I can get the interior designer or the client to consider buying local versus online, then it's a win.
Yes.
But then there's the collectible work. It needs to be unique, different, keeps people interested. Those are the people that are going to buy it just because they like it and they're going to find a place for it. They're not looking for something for a specific place. So I get both coming in, which is a challenge.
Yeah, I imagine you'd also have to manage the egos of artists at times too, because if I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, if someone said, well, I just need a 30 by 40 that matches my couch, some artists would be offended if you commission them for that, right?
Some artists get offended.
Okay. So you have to know who could handle that and who wouldn't.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and more artists that I work with than not are not interested in doing a commission. I mean, that's okay. Some artists look at it as I want to make the income.
Right.
I'm still going to pursue my art and my voice, but if I can make an extra X dollars doing a commission, I'm going to do that.
Right.
It's still my style. I can because they can. If you're capable of creating something, I don't know why it would demean your art to do that. You can do both.
Right.
I think you can do both.
Yeah. I always think too that if I get to the point where I don't need to take a commission, then I've made it. Right? Because if you give me a commission, I'm going to take it.
I think commissions are challenges too.
They are challenges, but at the end of the day, it's people wanting to give you money.
Yes.
Right? So
yes, and I've spoken to, you just saw before we started the interview, an interior designer coming in. I work with several, and some are very interested in completely original things, and some want me to find them a 48 by 48 beige textured art piece.
Right.
The artist isn't relevant, and it's not offensive.
Right.
It's not intended to be offensive. But if they don't buy a local artist, they're going to buy it someplace else. And so my job is to try to swing their attention here to a local person, put it in our community. And it's hard.
Yeah. And then doing that, I'm sure one of the incentives is to make the designer feel good about where their money's going, right?
Right. And most of them will if I can get in front of them and I can explain the story of your X dollars can go to a random website, or they can go in the back pocket of a family in our community. They will choose the family in the community if given the opportunity. But that also is a math decision. So artists I had to go backwards and figure out what are they spending on the average piece of art, back into if they're going to buy a print, how much are they spending on that? And then I need to come in the middle somewhere. If I can come in close, even if it's a little bit more expensive for an original piece, they're going to buy the original.
Yeah.
But it's a sale. That's that part of the sale.
Right. You have to work for that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where I think artists really are lucky to have someone in their corner, working for them, trying to get them that sale. Because it's hard. Most artists, I would say, you can correct me if I'm wrong, probably not the best at selling their work.
No. Yeah, and you have to. It's always be selling. So yeah.
Yeah, and you have multiple opportunities here too. So we have the gallery here. This is a space that's open to the public, and you also have the market.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the market and how that came about.
The market came about when I moved into this space. So I went from our little space to this space, and then I already outgrew it. So within the first month, I think I have 282 artists on my wait list right now.
Wow. That's
it's a
great.
lot.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. I mean, but I can't help all those artists.
Correct.
So I've heard from many artists that they are tired of going to craft shows and having their actual fine art next to people that are selling things that are not the same quality. So I wanted to figure out, I'm going to do it a kind of a micro market that is art that I would often put in here. I try to vet. So we vet and jury in the artists outside, but that was a way for me to extend another 20 plus artists a month.
Right.
I can't fit them in here. It's also been a great way for me to find, again, new artists.
Right.
Because we've had several that I didn't know, and I have given them opportunities to either come into the gallery full-time, do a pop-up. The pop-up that we have right now is from an artist I met at a show 2 years ago.
BC Cruise.
BC Cruise.
Oh, yes.
And we had I had an idea. I went and approached him and I said, I think you need to do this show with this title. How long will it take you to produce the amount of work? And it was over a year. But I would have never met him. So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, and to be honest, as an artist who does the markets, that has been a place where I've made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You're out there in the heat and the cold and the wind and the rain, all those things.
Ups and downs. And you get to spend a lot of time talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of the artists from the markets become friends.
For sure, yeah. A lot of us are. And because we also do multiple markets. A lot of us do First Saturday in Houston.
And so Mitch is a great friend. Hi, Mitch.
What's up, Mitch? Yes.
And so when I thought about doing the market, he was the first person I reached out to, and I made sure that he was not going to be, we were supportive of one another. I didn't want to step on his toes, even though we're not in the same market area. We share a lot of the same artists, and I respect him. So on purpose, we are third Saturdays as to not conflict with his, to give artists a break in between. If they wanted to do both, they can. But there's a lot of mutual respect in the space, and he's given me pointers, and some of my artists have gone down there.
Yeah.
So it's helped him too.
Yeah, it's actually worked out really well in terms of schedule, because the first Saturday is a staple in Houston.
Second Saturday is a big one in Sawyer
Yards. And then third Saturday here in the Woodlands.
Yep.
So, and it's called Art in the Woods.
Art in the Woods.
Right. Which is every Saturday, third Saturday from
10 to 4.
From 10 to 4 from what months?
September through April. We're not doing May anymore. It's too hot.
Okay, yeah. We'll take out the...
It's not happening.
Last year
Too hot.
was really hot in
Nope.
May. It was like 90,000 degrees.
Not worth it.
So tell us a little bit about workshops, how you go about scheduling those, what types of things people could expect.
That's a good question. Workshops are another way to engage with the community. I have a psychology degree as a background in sales also. And what I think is often the case with a regular, just a person, is they think art gallery and they think that's scary, or I need to dress up to go to the art gallery,
Right.
you know, or everything's going to be really expensive and I'm going to feel uncomfortable. And so having a workshop that's at a more affordable price brings the person in that doesn't even think about where it's located. So they come in and they're like, oh, this is a gallery. This is fun, and people here are nice, and they look at the prices and they can find something that they can afford.
Right.
And then they come back.
Yeah.
So the workshops have really generated a huge volume of people coming into the space that would not have likely come in. They would have seen art gallery and they would have never come here.
Right. And those workshops are taught by artists.
They're taught by artists.
So a lot of times the artists, like I said earlier, will get clients out of
They
there.
do.
Or collectors.
They do. A lot of times people will come right out of a workshop and they'll look for that artist's stuff in the space, and they're great supporters. And the clients that repeatedly purchase from us are often those regulars. They come to the workshops every month or every quarter. They come meet the artists. They feel engaged in the space. It's not just a place to be. It's a community for them too. And my mom brings cookies. My mom teaches art. And she's gotten into the habit of, she brings, everyone that takes her class expects cookies. So she makes cookies.
I didn't know that.
She does.
I gotta sign up for her class then.
Every time.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, so it's been fun. The workshops that we do are primarily designed for residents, non-artists. So, and then that is on purpose as well. We have wonderful art leagues in the area. I don't want to detract from those workshops that they are offering. Those are often sketching, drawing, painting, and I'm aware of what they're doing. So we don't do those.
Right.
We do things that are either very specific for like encaustic, that is not maybe taught there, or I've brought in photographers that have done very specific focused workshops that are not duplicated outside of here, or they're designed for people that just want to come in and make something fun.
Right.
They want to make a framed piece of glass, or they want to paint your pet that like you've done. It's fun.
Right.
It's light. It's fun. They leave with something that they feel good about, that's not going to go in the garbage, that they can keep. And so those are our regulars. In the fall of last year, we expanded, so I went from about 6 or 8 workshops a month. I'm up to 18.
Oh wow.
It was a really conscious effort to really drive that up. We added a series called Create and Connect that's supposed to be for someone that's looking for something creative to do during the day, maybe after they drop their kids off at school, or maybe they're retired. That's on the lighter side and is more affordable. So in the $20 to $25 range, they can pop in and do something. Then we started an art of mindfulness workshop, because I think we all need that calmness.
I think so, yeah.
We need more calmness. So this morning we did a vision board workshop, and it was really just quiet. People were in their own zone, making their own thing. Again, those are in the $20 to $25 price point, and they're designed to be just a quick thing.
Right.
Don't need any experience. You can use all the supplies, and again, those bringing in people into our space that would not be here otherwise.
Yeah, I think that is a big part of the workshops that are here. Everyone will leave with something they've created.
Yeah.
And so you always see people with smiles on their faces and proud of what
They're
they've
proud
done,
of it, yeah.
and showing it off, and it's a good way to get people involved in the art community.
And those people come back and back and back.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Most of the workshops that you do are 2 to 3 hours, I would say.
Right.
4 hours at the most. I'm not...
Yeah, they're 2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3
They're
hours.
kind of just lighter, and we're not targeting artists.
Right. It's not an education. It's not like, here, we're going to educate you.
No, we do some, but in the gaps.
Right.
Yeah, I'm close. The Woodlands Art League is really close to us, literally around the corner. I've met with their board many times. We're always in communication to make sure that we're supportive of one another.
Right.
They come to the market sometimes at no cost to help the community become more aware that we have an art league. And there's enough space in our community for. I wish there were more art galleries.
Yeah.
I don't view it as competition. We need more space.
Yeah, I think so, because the more people appreciate art, the more I think it just brings joy to people's lives. It's something we lack in the world right now, because especially now as computers are taking over everything, AI, right? We really lack that connection, human connection.
Intangible things that are meaningful.
Right.
And I think and for me in my own home, I can speak that it brings me joy to walk down my hallway and I know who painted that or who made that bowl. And I remember when we got it, my kids know too. My kids have met almost all the artists that we've purchased work from. And so it's not just a thing.
Right. It's a community and it's a way of life. It's supporting one another. It's the stories behind the pieces.
And we need creativity. People, many of the artists that we have in our space, that's their outlet.
Yeah.
They need to create, they feel compelled to create for whatever reason.
Right. Yeah. Real stuff.
Using your hands.
Using your hands.
And then back to the workshops, there are so many adults that have such great joy using a glue stick.
Right?
Cutting paper and gluing is something that maybe kids do and we've taken for granted, but adults maybe don't do so much.
Yeah, actually, I have true story. I took a collage workshop here one time. Hadn't done collage since I was probably in the 3rd grade.
Right.
And it became something that I took home and I do all the time now. I love it. I really like something about cutting things out with scissors. Works a different part of your creativity brain.
It's just relaxing.
Yeah. And it's a totally different thing. And I never would have done that had I not taken the workshop. What do you think, you talked about some of the misconceptions that people have about art galleries. How do you combat that? How do you try to break the ice with people and get them, other than having the workshops to invite people
It's really
in?
the events. It's creating a space where people feel compelled to go. And that's another fight as a gallery is we are all on our phones, we're busy. To get somebody to physically walk into a space is a challenge because they just want to scroll.
Right.
And a lot of people look at art on their phones and maybe they don't feel like they need to go to a physical space. I think if I didn't have all those events, I wouldn't be open anymore.
Yeah.
There's not enough people that walk in the door looking for art.
Yeah, so you really use those as a way to get people
100%.
in the door.
Yeah.
Right, and you are competing with TikTok and Instagram and Netflix and everything.
Everything, prints and schedules, and it is a constant job. And then for the workshops, I have to constantly think of something new because we do some of the regulars, but that's not enough. Right. To get our gallery regulars to come back too, it has to be a new workshop.
Right. Yeah. What is your experience in working with artists? That's a wholly different thing than working.
It's a different client.
Because artists, I don't want to say I think we are can be moody, can be kind of particular about their work specifically, right?
Yeah.
How do you manage relationships with the artists differently than you would clients?
I don't know. It's a good question. There are so many different personalities. Just in behind me, there's probably 15 different artists right here, creators.
Right.
They're all different. I try to be fair and transparent about our process, which is, and I would say to any artist looking to be in a gallery, go to their website, look at the right way to approach. Because walking in and talking to the people without an appointment is probably not a good idea, for example.
Right. I'm here.
I am here.
Yes.
And then they show you their work on their phone.
Yes,
I'm like, no.
Yes.
So I try to be transparent. I try to be fair. I try to give good feedback. Artists do often get their feelings hurt if they are not accepted into the space, or if they are accepted into the space and their work doesn't sell for some reason. I try to be. I'm very, because I do come from an art background in terms of my family, and I love artists. I try not to be. It's not my place to price work or to dictate what an artist does. I think artists are better to create what they want, and then if they ask me for feedback on pricing, I can definitely walk around and tell you what sells, what doesn't, why I believe certain things sell and certain things don't, and then I can normally back into a price point. But pricing is really personal.
Right.
for artists. And I find that often many are resistant to listening. The artists that I found that are resistant to listening don't sell.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard.
And that goes again to the idea that you can get an education by just listening to someone with experience who might know, because after all, you are the one trying to sell it at the end of the day.
And I try to, and I'm a good listener to clients when they're in here, and I watch what they gravitate towards, and I watch how they react to work. I can see their faces. Where you're, as an artist, you're not in here. You don't have that same vantage point where you can see someone walk in a space and then they fall in love with something, whatever that is.
Right.
I don't push my ideas on people, but if they ask them and they're interested, I'll share. I do with the market too. I try to give feedback where it's welcome about how to merchandise the market, or how do you get more sales, or maybe if somebody didn't get sales, maybe how they could get better sales.
I can vouch for you too. You've always been open. You've always been willing to hear what artists are thinking and open to giving feedback. So I think that's appreciated.
I want people to be successful.
Right.
And if artists aren't successful, if the artists that I represent are not successful, I'm not successful. It has to be that way, I think, and I think more galleries should be like that, because we're all trying to do the same thing, and there shouldn't be one party involved in a gallery that's making the money and everybody else is not.
Right.
Or upside down.
Right.
Financially, or it's tricky.
Cool. You just mentioned seeing someone fall in love with a piece, at first sight. Have there been any moments like that here in the gallery?
Oh, all the time.
Share some memories with us.
I mean, it's just, I can vividly remember people, they'll walk by and then they just stop moving. They stop moving and their feet will not move anymore. And they've stood in front of something for more than a couple of seconds. It's because for whatever reason that piece is talking to them. I even have clients, I joked like that it's okay to leave the piece.
Right. Because they don't want to come away from it.
It's something and I tell people that piece just picked you. And I believe that there's something about certain art pieces that have struck something in a person, and that's their piece. Yeah. They don't know why, and they don't realize it necessarily, but the fact that they can't move anymore, or that they walk around again and come back to it, that's their.
Yeah, that's a very cool one. I got chills when you were talking
about
that.
It's like, I love watching it.
Yeah, I've had that experience many times myself in galleries, museums, festivals.
You just stop.
Yeah.
What is that? There's a story behind it, and that typically happens with the artists that have the most meaningful, soulful works that maybe it's not so obvious, but there's something behind the work, and the person looking at it can tell. They don't know what the story is, but they can tell there is one. Right.
And so that's where it's good to know the artist, right? And you can tell the story, because we've talked about this before here on this program, especially with other artists, that it's the stories that sell the piece oftentimes.
It's a story the piece tells without you telling it. And I think that's a challenge. I think some artists feel like they need to explain. If you have to explain your artwork, then it's probably not going to sell, because it should explain itself. Yeah. I
like that. It should explain itself.
It should explain itself.
That's good. That gives me an excuse not to talk.
So when I train people here, I always say, let people look. And I say, I have a one-liner line, like a process. If a person stands in front of something for more than a couple of seconds, I will make a point to get up and move around and kind of be busy and walk by them and say, did you know this person was born here and this is, blah, blah, blah. A fact, an interesting fact. Like I'm looking at Heiko's wood. Well, he grew up in Germany and then went to the Southwest, where a lot of the influence in his work came from, which is why he uses stones. He has sort of a Southwestern vibe. He is a chemist, though. His job is a chemist.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with wood turning.
Right.
But I might walk by you and say that, and then leave you alone. And then you're pondering about, well, that's interesting. Or, one of our watercolor artists is an architect, and he draws houses, and it makes sense.
Allen Ginsberg.
Yeah, but that's where I feel like I connect with people is not selling the work, but just explaining something that they may not understand. They may not understand when they look at it. Did you know there's tissue paper in this work?
Right. Yeah, I never realized that paintings often or artworks talk to me and they're telling a story, but I don't exactly know why all the time.
And sometimes you don't need to know, because
Yeah.
if your version of what you see is different than the artist, then you may not want to buy it either.
Right.
Because you may not like the artist version of the story.
We've had that discussion here before with artists. Sometimes you don't want to get in the way of a sale, by yapping too much,
Right.
by telling too much. But I like the idea of letting it tell the story on its own.
I would say that would be my tip for artists, is have a one-liner.
Mm-hmm.
My inspiration for this piece was, or this was created using this.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much that it's taking away from what you created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you also just mentioned a couple of the artists here at the gallery. I would also remind people that everyone is local.
Everyone's
Everyone's
Texas.
from Texas, right?
Yep.
So how many artists are there again?
60.
60.
At least.
And they range from here to Houston, Austin?
I would say 50% are from the Houston and surrounding areas. I would say another 30% are from Austin. I get a lot from Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest would be from Dallas and San Antonio and surrounding areas.
Yeah.
Those people come from calls normally.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they see the open calls and then they end up getting in the shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of it's just looking for another avenue, another place to show your work. And I find, it keeps it fresh and interesting.
Right.
Not a lot of galleries focus on local.
Right.
So that, in terms of a bigger space, we originally wasn't on purpose. Now it's on purpose. It's I'm going to stay. There's enough talent in the state that I don't need to go bring in other talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty eye-opening. I think people are really surprised when they realize how many people from around here are good at art.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
And my job now is to always find the next best, like the next talent, the best people in this price point, emerging price points.
Right. Before they go up the ladder.
And I hope they go up the ladder.
Right. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it's a win-win. I don't want them to get stuck here. I want them to, progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One other thing I wanted to mention too about the gallery is that there seems to be also a community outreach component.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to that a little bit about what you do with different organizations?
We do. I think, and so I made also a conscious effort to not do events in the space. My part of my mission is to keep everything art forward and art focused. And for example, I could charge to rent the space out. Mm-hmm. That would make money for me, maybe, but they're not coming in for the art. Right. And so then it's defeating the purpose. It's taking away my energy from selling art. The community partnership started as a way to, if we can help the community through the sale of art, not through donating art. Mm-hmm. I really stay away from that, about asking my artists to do anything for free.
Yes, and artists appreciate that. That's the worst thing. Would you donate a piece, people? Yeah.
No. Yeah. And I understand. I work on the nonprofit side. I'm on the board of several things, so I try to stay away from asking people to give up their, maybe time is okay, but not a piece of art.
Yes, I agree.
We did one of the most fun things we did last year was partner with Friends of Texas Wildlife. And they are a wildlife rehabilitation center, and it was a wildlife month. So they brought an owl out to our market, and everyone could take pictures with it. And then we auctioned off a painting of the owl. Her name was Aluna. And so that was just exciting. I don't know, it was fun. But we brought people in from the community. We donated a pretty significant amount of money for them. And it was all art forward, art sales forward. And December, we did a partnership with Henry's Home and Sanctuary in real close by, actually. We did the second year we've done it. We partnered this year, we made it bigger and better and partnered with all of the businesses in our community. And we all stayed open. We donated a percentage of sales that night to the group, and it was in the thousands. Okay, so it was a meaningful evening, again, but it was all art forward. And so I'm always open to partnerships that involve art sales and supporting somebody. Right. At the same time. Right. And I like a theme.
Yes.
So, at the end of the month, it's National Puzzle Day. So we're going to have a scavenger hunt.
Okay. In fact, that was going to be my next thing. Please tell everybody about the scavenger hunt, because that's a really fun thing you do.
That was fun. And I got that idea from I don't know, probably social media somewhere. It wasn't a gallery. It was just an artist that was doing it. And this will be our third year doing it. But I hide, not the actual art. We hide boxes with the picture of the actual art. So that is artist donated. So I will take my comment back. We do sometimes ask for that, but it's optional. Yeah. And we market it for an entire month. And then for a week, we have adults all over the Woodlands looking for these boxes.
Right,
with
because
clues.
you're hiding them in the community, not in the gallery, but out in
Out in the
town,
community,
right.
and it's always around an art sculpture, a mural, because we have an amazing art scene in the Woodlands.
Yes.
So it's on purpose also to support the Arts Council. Murals, sculptures, or benches, or bike racks. We've got all of that
Right.
as part of our community. And so I leave clues.
Right.
And I move it around so it's fair, so
Mhm.
that it's not all in one, because it takes 30 minutes to drive from one part of the Woodlands to the other.
Right.
So I try to mix it up. And it's fun. They come in
Yeah.
and they redeem their prize. We're
Mhm.
doing the different one, though, this month for our show, where people can come in and find the characters in BC's work.
Oh, cool.
So if there's a little card, and it's not until the end of the month, and they'll be able to find the characters, and if they fill it out, including kids, then they
Mhm.
get a free coloring page, and it'll be entered into a raffle to win a piece of
All
art.
right.
So I try to make it fun.
That is fun.
I think people need more fun.
For all you Where's Waldo fans.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
It's really fun. I had a couple
cool.
win 3 last year because they every morning they got in 2 different cars and went to 2 different parts of the Woodlands,
Mm.
waiting for the clues to drop.
Teamwork.
It
Teamwork makes the dream
was really
work.
fun.
Awesome.
And this year we're doing a partnership with the Arts Council. So
Okay.
our scavenger hunt grows every year. It was just me the last 2 years. They're going to be involved this year,
Okay, good.
officially.
Awesome. All right, shout out to the Woodlands Art
Woodlands Arts Council.
All right. Julie, this is awesome. I thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
letting me shoot here, letting me have these conversations here with artists. I know that the community is happy to have you and lucky to have you, really.
It's been fun.
And I know you're a humble person, so let me just toot your horn a little bit. Like, we all love you. It's a really fun community to be a part of.
You made me now. You're going to make me blush.
Sorry. But it's true and it's heartfelt. We all have a soft spot in our heart for you. So
Thank you.
Before we go though, I have to ask you some rapid fire questions. No one gets out of here without
Okay.
these rapid fire questions. Remember, the answer is simple. I usually give it to you in the question, and don't think too much about it. Just give me whichever comes to your mind first. Part of the fun is trying to figure out, what does she mean by that, right? Okay, so no pressure.
Okay.
Number 1, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee. All right. Red or blue?
Blue.
Blue. Up or down?
Up.
Okay. All right. See, those are easy, right? Hot dog or hamburger?
Hamburger.
Hamburger. No question. Okay. Up early or up late?
Up late.
All right. Okay. I didn't know that.
Neither.
Yeah. Okay. In fact, I didn't mention you also have 4 kids.
I do,
So
yeah.
I don't know how you do all of this.
Naps. I
Right.
nap.
There you go. Okay. Trust your eye or trust your gut?
Gut.
Okay. Intuition or research?
Intuition.
Okay. Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
All
I'm
right.
old.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, I'm right on the cusp because I came in at the end of Facebook, but the beginning of Instagram, and I don't know. They're the same to me, but good to know. Okay. Art that whispers or art that shouts?
Whispers.
Okay. Plan or no plan?
Plan.
Museum quality or street level energy?
Ooh, that one's hard.
That is a hard one, right?
Probably street level energy.
Street level energy. Okay, that's more my style anyway. So, all right. Beauty or truth?
Truth.
Amen. Concept driven or process driven?
Concept driven.
Okay. I think that's probably hard for a lot of artists, right? Or at least for you trying to sell the art.
Concept, yeah. I mean, I'm married to a CFO.
Okay.
So I am the creative and he is the structure. So
Concepts, okay.
but I believe it's all starts with a concept.
Yeah.
And then you need processes. So you need both. But I think you can't build a process without having the vision first.
That's good. That's a good thing to keep in mind, artists. All right. Long walk or long drive?
The walk.
Walk. All right. And now the last one, emotional impact or intellectual depth?
Emotional impact.
Okay. I agree with that. Because if the painting doesn't make you feel something.
And I think that's where a lot of people, to kind of close, get uncomfortable with art galleries, is they feel like they need to know something about art, or and you don't. You just need to go with what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like it, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Right.
You don't need to understand or have an intellectual opinion about it. You just need to love it.
Mm-hmm. Amen. I love that. Awesome. Julie, thank you so much. Before we go, I'm going to put all the information up here on the screen. Follow you on Instagram at Ardest Gallery, Facebook, the Ardest Gallery, and the website. Find us at ardestgallery.com. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
don't think
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, viewers.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more. Peace.